To set up the Raspberry Pi and connect it to a camera module, you will need the following items. A Raspberry Pi board. Any model will work, but we recommend the Raspberry Pi 4 for better performance, a microSD card with Raspberry Pi OS installed, a power supply for the Raspberry Pi, a keyboard and mouse, a monitor and HDMI cable, a camera module for the Raspberry Pi. We will use the camera module 3 with a 12MP sensor and autofocus, but you can also use other models. A ribbon cable to connect the camera module to the Raspberry Pi. First, make sure your Raspberry Pi is powered off and unplugged from the power supply. Then, locate the CSI port on the Raspberry Pi board. It is a long, thin slot near the HDMI port. Gently lift up the plastic tab on the CSI port and insert one end of the ribbon cable into it, making sure the metal contacts are facing towards the HDMI port. Push down the plastic tab to secure the cable. Next, locate the camera connector on the camera module. It is a small, black slot on the back of the board. Gently lift up the plastic tab on the camera connector and insert the other end of the ribbon cable into it, making sure the metal contacts are facing towards the lens. Push down the plastic tab to secure the cable. Now, you can mount the camera module on a stand or a tripod, or attach it to your Guardian model using some glue or tape. Make sure the lens is facing forward and is not obstructed by anything. Finally, plug in your keyboard, mouse, monitor and power supply to your Raspberry Pi and turn it on. You should see a desktop screen on your monitor after a few seconds. To test if your camera module is working properly, open a terminal window on your Raspberry Pi and type in the following command. Raspastill, test.jpg. This will take a still picture using your camera module and save it as test.jpg in your home directory. You can view it by opening the file manager and double-clicking on test.jpg. You have successfully set up your Raspberry Pi and connected it to a camera module. In the next section, we will show you how to install and run some software to make your Guardian track objects using AI. In this section, we will show you how to design and build the Guardian model from Zelda using cardboard, paint and LED lights. The Guardian is one of the most iconic enemies in Breath of the Wild, and it has a distinctive shape and color scheme. We will use some basic materials and tools to create a realistic and detailed replica of the Guardian that you can display or play with. The first step is to gather all the materials and tools you will need for this project. You will need cardboard boxes of different sizes, a ruler, a pencil, a pair of scissors and a utility knife, hot glue gun and glue sticks, acrylic paint in black, blue, orange and white, paint brushes and a sponge, LED lights in blue and red, a battery pack and some wires, a soldering iron and some solder, some tape and Velcro. The second step is to cut out the cardboard pieces that will form the body and the legs of the Guardian. You can use a ruler and a pencil to measure and mark the cardboard according to the dimensions shown in the image below. You can also use a reference image of the Guardian from the game to guide you. You will need a large rectangular piece for the main body, 6 smaller rectangular pieces for the side panels, 6 long triangular pieces for the legs, 6 short triangular pieces for the feet, 6 circular pieces for the joints. Use a pair of scissors or a utility knife to cut out the cardboard pieces. Be careful not to cut yourself or damage the cardboard. The third step is to assemble the cardboard pieces using hot glue. You can use a hot glue gun and some glue sticks to attach the cardboard pieces together. You will need to glue the side panels to the main body piece, leaving some gaps for the legs. Glue the joints to the ends of the legs, making sure they are aligned with the gaps on the body. Glue the feet to the other ends of the legs, making sure they are flat and stable. Glue 3 legs on each side of the body, alternating between long and short legs. You should now have a basic structure of the Guardian that looks like this. The fourth step is to paint the cardboard pieces using acrylic paint. You can use paint brushes and a sponge to apply different colors of paint to create a realistic effect. You will need to paint the main body piece black, leaving some areas unpainted for later. Paint the side panels blue, leaving some areas unpainted for later. Paint the legs orange, leaving some areas unpainted for later. Paint the feet black, leaving some areas unpainted for later. Paint the joints white, leaving some areas unpainted for later. You should now have a colorful structure of the Guardian that looks like this. The fifth step is to add some details and shading using acrylic paint. You can use a sponge or a dry brush to dab some paint on top of the base colors to create some texture and depth. You will need to use white paint to add some highlights on the edges of the body, panels, legs and feet. Use black paint to add some shadows on the corners and creases of the body, panels, legs and feet. Use blue paint to add some patterns on the body and panels, following the reference image of the Guardian from the game. Use orange paint to add some stripes on the legs, following the reference image of the Guardian from the game. You should now have a detailed structure of the Guardian that looks like this. The sixth step is to add some LED lights to make the Guardian glow. You can use LED lights in blue and red colors to create a cool effect. You will need to cut out a small hole on the front of the body piece, where you want to place the eye of the Guardian. Cut out 6 small holes on each side panel, where you want to place the sensors of the Guardian. Insert a blue LED light through each hole, making sure they are secure and facing outward. Connect all 13 blue LED lights together using some wires and soldering them in parallel. Connect one end of this circuit to a battery pack using some wires and soldering them together. Attach some Velcro on both sides of this circuit so you can attach it inside or outside of your Guardian model as you wish. Cut out another small hole on top of your battery pack, where you want to place an on/off switch. Insert a red LED light through this hole, making sure it is secure and facing upward. Connect this red LED light to your battery pack using some wires and soldering them in series with an on/off switch. You should now have an illuminated circuit that looks like this. The final step is to attach your circuit inside or outside your Guardian model using Velcro. You can also use some tape to hide any exposed wires or solder joints. You can then turn on your circuit using your on/off switch and enjoy your glowing Guardian model. You have now completed your Guardian model from Zelda using cardboard, paint and LED lights. Congratulations! You can display it proudly or play with it as you wish. You can also try making other models from Zelda using similar techniques. Have fun!